Welcome back. Welcome back to the series of holistic well-being and exercise. This is video 3 and it's all about the Dr. Happiness. So, Dr. Happiness, Dr. Joy, is really the umbrella of all the 4 doctors that we're going to be speaking. And it is very important. Actually, it's not something new. It's something that actually Hippocrates, the Greek ancient doctor, had spoken about that. Like if a person was going to him for a treatment, he was asking him, are you ready to drop the things that don't make you happy? And once he was receiving that reply, then he was making a detox to the people, actually. So there was a general cleanse of the body, a general cleanse of the mind, a general cleanse of emotions, and general cleanse of the skin. On various aspects a cleanse, and then he was entering them actually to his special sanctuary, medical sanctuary, where the people were receiving his treatments. If you go to the island of Kos in Greece, there is the Hippocrates Foundation, where you can see exactly how he was offering his medical services, and or in other places, maybe in Greece, where ancient sanctuaries were existing. So also Hippocrates talked about what makes you happy, what is appropriate eating for you, what is the appropriate movement for you, and what is the appropriate recuperation time, the resting for you. And I see many people saying that I want in my life to be happy, and a lot of people actually don't apply the goals or the values in order to be happy, and they don't do it like in tangible objectives, because down to the earth is like whatever. It's like a lifestyle, it's like an attitude. Even like being here doing this video, I created from joy with happiness, from what it really gives me happiness into my life, actually. And even if, like, for example, it's late in the evening and I have to do this Facebook live, how will I go outside of my shadows and outside of my social programming and my human programming, if you want, and get into my higher self, go out of my shadows, tap into my lover, that I will explain later, of what really gives me joy, in order to create this task of creating this video about having joy and Sophia being happy by creating this video. And this is what all it gets, because sometimes we can see like tasks like hustles, but in order to create this flow, in order to create this happiness process, we really need to go through a process where we create the hustle to the joy, to the enjoyment and amusement, that because it serves this lifestyle and attitude of happiness, and our central priority and goal for happiness. So, which for me, it's kind of my service, and the videos is a way for me, it's a tool for me to deliver my service, which makes me very happy to create also happiness through the health for people who really need it, either for prevention or either for recuperation or rehabilitation. So from that space, when we create those aspects that make us like happy, we live from the area of survival, so like struggling and surviving, and we turn directly to the other side, that is the source of energy. Because no matter what time it is, no matter where you are. When you're serving this aspect, it gives you like a pump of energy, and this is how also you pursue like this joy. Because if it is no joy, actually, if there is no joy, as many people say, like, what do you want to create your desires, manifest the law of attraction, whatever. If this thing that you desire, that you target, doesn't come from joy, it will not be created. Like, many people say, I want to get married, I need to get married, I have to get married, but they don't do it because I'm really happy now myself, so I have great joy. So how about creating also a relationship to have more fun, to be more in joy? And this creates also, and the people who work with me, either in one-to-one or in my global influencers academy, we discuss about that, about the shadows and about the archetypes, and how really to turn the shadow to an archetype. There are specific tools, there are specific methods that needs practice, because nothing comes up in life without practice. Also happiness, also to pursue your goal, it's a practice, it's a muscle that we need to train on various aspects of our consciousness and our existence, and go after that. So yes, so a lot of people say, like, I need to have a child because, for example, I turned 40 years old and I need to have a child because in 2 years, 3 years, I won't have possibility to have a child. So if it comes from a source of obligation or natural or social limitations, this desire will not manifest. And if it manifests because it's coming with my energy and with my intention of struggle, like I have to do something, and I'm not gonna get into the archetypes right now, but I have to do something because it will be a struggle also when I have experienced it and I have created it. So the same energy that I create, the intention and the desire, if by any chance I create it, it will be a very wrong content of desire and energy. So neither me or a potential child or a potential partner or a potential colleague or a potential job or a potential boss will have this enjoyment. It will not be fun. So we really, and I work specifically with my clients in order to create this attitude of happiness and joyful of happiness, and joyful attitude, in order like to really get into that desire out of state of joy. I have a lot of people who say that I need to create, like at the challenge, I need to create 10,000 euros in a month. So if you didn't came from a space of, because it's fun, I want to create this 10,000 euros because it's a game, it's fun, and I will see how life will play with me and I play with life. But you come from a state, oh, I need this money because I have a lot of bills, those money will not manifest, and even if they manifest, they will be spent very fast. Very fast. And again, it has to do with that energy that we are talking. So as part one of getting a coaching, or for prevention, or for well-being, or for rehabilitation, this is an essential part that I give also to the people that I work with. I love the background here. It's like pillars of temple. So take advantage of this possibility, because it can really be a creativity and a fun thing for you to play with in order to create very important targets of your life. So otherwise you might be falling on the survival mode. So if you create something from your neediness space, your cortisol comes up, your lymphatic system gets very toxic, very toxic, and your your left brain, your left side of your brain will become very, very exhausted and very, very drained, because you will be repeating same things and same methodologies and same habits that haven't worked so far for you, but you keep repeating them and you expect a different result. And this will never happen. This will never happen, really. Will never happen. Because I have a lot of people that they say, like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, but they don't want also to do something different to what they have been doing so far. You know, when you are following a method and you see that it doesn't have results on your own, and you go to somebody because you trust him as an expert, you trust him for various reasons, and he presents you a series of methodologies for you, adequate to you, and you say, I don't want to do that, I'm not going to do that, well, you better get out of that shadow of the child and decide that what you pursue there with this expert that you hired, that you invested your time, is about really getting to your result for a better health, for a better relationship, for a better financial situation, for a better financial career, professional career as well, for whatever you choose. And it's better you start applying methodologies that those experts have been known. And there is also the part of your intuition, so you judge how your intuition can, like your gut or your consciousness, your awareness can guide you there very, very corrective. But at the beginning, if you are not trained in that, it can be quite hard. This is something that I do with my one-to-one clients of that direction, because not everybody gets towards that direction, and it's very easy for them to use all these aspects towards this target. So the first video, the first day, we really saw like an introduction about being honest with yourself, and this video triggered quite many people because we don't dare to be honest with ourselves, actually, as well as not being able to write down, to desire and to write down what we really, really want. Again, as I said, off the shadow, the obligatory, the social programming, the family programming, or like if you are pressed for whatever reasons, living in survival again, that will never get you where you really want. For example, even about health, it's not like health like a neediness, like I need to stay alive because of somebody else or because I'm afraid to die. You want to stay alive because it's fun to live, because it's fun to live every day, and it's fun to do something creative that makes you feel happy, and you have a happiness attitude and not a victim attitude, like look what they do to me, or why is this happening to me every time. There is specific reason why it is happening to you every time. There is specific reason why some people, you think that they do these things for you, and I can discuss further, but not in this video, or in person if you want. So it's very, very important to write, as I said, like what really makes you happy. What really makes you happy? And it's not like being happy. You will really, really feel it when you ask yourself what really makes me happy, and you will feel it also, the sensation, as I was saying in the first video, the sensation, the feeling, the intuition, and the feeling in your body. It will just give you a boost of energy, a boost of joy, a boost of inspiration to see the whole scenario in front of you. For example, I have a lot of clients who work in the European Commission or in other institutions, and after a few years that they are used to various circumstances that they have in their job, they come to me with serious chronic pain, with serious stress, or with burnout, and they finally are not happy into their work, no matter the benefits that they have with. Because they were wishing, they were desiring to be somebody else. Somebody was desiring to become a singer. Somebody was desiring to become, yeah, another one actually, yeah, by coincidence, a guitar player, a rock star. Another was desiring to do sports or his life. Another was desiring to live at another place. And this is a pattern of prostitute, actually, being in a place, being in a job, being in a relationship, in a space where you don't really desire, but you are staying there for the paycheck, you're staying there for the bonus, whatever is on this, you're staying there for safety, you are staying there because you don't want to take risk on discovering how can I become a rock star, or even smaller, like spending time with people or inviting in your space people that they don't really give you joy. You don't like to hang around with them, but you go for various reasons or protocols. So little by little, when you are in these situations, in these spaces, you lead yourself to disease, and you lead yourself into various consequences, threatening situations soon or later. Because happiness really is a practice, and if you thought that you are in this life to be like in the hero's journey, like a lot of spiritual people and people say, like you are a hero of this life, I come here to tell you that you are here to live the anti-hero's journey. Anti-hero's journey. I will discuss another day about that. The anti-hero's journey is not a journey that you do to become a hero, to become a legend, to become like with public fame. It becomes really to heal and create your own consciousness, your own higher self, to see the God, the divinity inside you. This is the anti-hero's journey, and it's not at all like with money, luxury, and all these honors. It can be, but also the people who do the anti-hero's journey, because not everybody does this journey, they have reached this space, their original space, their authentic space, by really going against their shadows, their victim, their child, and creating that shift that very few people desire and really practice and train to do, because really to be in that space is a practice and it's a training. Also with my clients, I don't do anymore only physical exercise. I do literally an energy training on all levels, and that's literally an exercise training, but not on the module or the protocol that we're used to know so far. So how do I choose to live a dream and make a living is very, very important. For example, you might be working in a pharmaceutical company that doesn't correspond to your values, and maybe the company doesn't have values, or they say that they have values but they don't service them, like it has happened to me in the past. And when I discovered this, it can create a really great inner conflict. So I left that space. And this is like being in the prison, really. This is like being in the prison. And a lot of people live in prisons like this. There are various exercises to discover what is the thing that you want to do in your living. But imagine that you were living actually in the prison, and the sentence was that for the rest of your sentence you have to do what you really love. Imagine that. How different that would be. And on another point, like an architect who is doing what we say that the functionality prostitution, it is somebody who would really work like in a company, for example, an architect working in a company who permits him to create his hobby, like what he would like to live from, which is like his music, create music, create pieces of music, and through this tool of his architecture work, he is living actually his dream, and he builds his dream towards that direction. This is very, very important actually, compared to somebody who is doing something very irrelevant out of prostitution uh, for his life he's living, and putting his whole health and his family and his beloved ones in danger. Because as we said, it's a practice. What is a practice? Joy and happiness is a practice. To fulfillment, to feel fulfilled, to feel healthy, it's a practice. I had another experience, I will tell you about that. So I had followed various shamanic ceremonies before I discovered shadow mastery, which I believe is the best than any shamanic. And there was this specific exercise where we really had to do, after a specific procedure, to dig our own grave. Dig our own grave at night, actually, and prepare it. Well, we dig it during the day. We prepare it, actually also the way we imagine it, so you become very, very close to the death procedure. And then in the evening, with a group of people, we went and we spent the night, each one of us, into our pretended graves. We literally slept inside the grave. I slept inside the grave that I digged. And I spent the night there. Everybody in the group. We were close, the graves were close. So we had specific questions to answer, 2-3 questions to answer in this grave that everybody was spending the night. And I assure you, when you wake up in the night, in the day, if you fall asleep, when you wake up in the day and you realize that you are still alive in that grave, which was open, okay, it was not covered, it was an open grave, you are a different person, and you start the day and that first day of the rest of your life with a very different perspective, and a very different perception about life, yourself, your higher self, God, universe, whatever, the world, and the other people. And there you don't do any exception by speaking your truth and being with morals, values, and responsibility also about what you say to other people. Really, because it would be rather unprofessional of my part to not, when I see the potential and the possibility and the authenticity to another person, to not ask him to work together with him or with her towards this direction. It would be totally unprofessionally and totally unhuman from my part. It was incredible. So this is the subject of this video. It's like the labor of love. The labor of love is really sustainable. And when there is not love, there is anxiety, which means anxiety is like, I'm afraid of what is coming in the future. Or there is depression, meaning like living the past, continuously living the past over and over and over again with the same habits. So now, if you want to start specific tangible steps, it's like to think, what do I really want to do for a living? What do I really want to do by living my life? what do I really want to do in my life, and try to feel this sensation in your body. Try to feel this sensation in your body. For example, if I say that I want to be an academic in ULB, my body, because I had this experience, my body gets really, really drained and flat. If I want to say that I would like to be an academic of a specific, because also you need to be very, very specific, as I said the first. I think I was in this video or in another class, remember? That you need to be very, 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 very specific of like, I want to be an academic in that specific university, in that specific country, with that specific academic surrounding, with that specific academic flexibility, potentials, projects, colleagues. And this gives me another sensation in my body. It opens up my thoughts. It makes my intuition very, very precise, and it builds up my feelings. My feelings come up that are very, very important, because how they nourish. Then what is really important for you according to your values? I told you about people who work really in, for example, European Commission or other institutions, that they, unfortunately or fortunately, they see that the work that they do or they have been doing for 20-30 years is not really giving them that energy, it's not in their values, and they spend a life without being able to do something about that, daring to do something about that. And there are others who have the possibility and the flexibility to do something really about that. So it's all about being honest and bring that honesty in front of your not only eyes, physical eyes, but your internal eyes. And this is how you create in your life, because that moment when you say, like, when you're honest and you bring your honesty ahead and you say, like, what does it really bring me joy to make a living out of my life? Your higher self, God, your universe will really show you signs of this. And in order to deliver the signs, it's about being really on that homeostasis that I've been speaking on those videos. And these are like very basic and important tools to help you being so clear that you grasp this reply that your guide will give you. I cannot emphasize how many times when I'm in this homeostasis, like slept well, ate well, for me, was in that perfect energy, and I had this intuitive reply to my question, and I could recognize it, because you might be receiving the responses, but you not may recognize them that are such. And quite often it can be also not the response that you want to hear. It can be something very discomfort that you want to follow. And this is also like what the intuition or the inspiration, how I call it, the inspiration that I work with one-to-one clients towards that direction when they have chosen this type of coaching, is how they can receive this delivery of those questions, and how to create these replies, these deliveries to real actions, to the physical, without really judging, because judgment really blocks your inspiration, really blocks your intuition, and it really sets you to that permanent situation of being a victim of life, like you don't have control of your life, or you don't have control of managing the responsibilities or the requirements that your life throws at you, because you face life from the side of a victim. So a very, very fast tip to help you do this, like open up your inspiration, according to these videos that we do together this week, it's also to open up your pineal gland. Your pineal gland, it's what it has your higher self. You communicate with your divine, your guide, your God, the universe, and it is like to burn in your space franciscine, so senses, and this specific the frankincense will really open and increase the substances that there are in the pineal gland that you can also boost or hack with your specific breathings. These are specific breathing techniques that I do with clients who want to go towards that direction. In that moment, you have really those receptive, inspirational flashes that you can really understand, feel, think, sense, and receive in order to see what is the message and the answer and act towards that in an instant. And again, it's not something like being from a victim side begging the universe to do for you, because you must really, when you are in that state of inspiration of what I mentioned before, you are already in that state of balance, light, power, inspiration, and you can receive the information and act right away, because exactly you don't feel you're a victim, you feel like sovereign person that you really are, close to divinity. And this is also like really a practice, living a practice to living out of your shadows. When somebody lives in his shadow, he's all the time thinking. Thinking is tiring, and then because it's tiring, people drop into judgment. But when you have practiced the methods that there are in order to go out of your shadows, of your victim and the other blockages, and go to your powerful, this is where the reality really begins and your real self begins. And actually also Platon had talked about the shadows, apart recent psychologist. Platon had talked about the shadows on the example of the cave. He was speaking about shadows. Such an inspiring person. He was really connected with his divine, and he had a really open pineal gland. So, and the other thing is like, if and when you see what is your thing that makes you joyful about making a living in your life, is to create those goals. Establish those goals that will help you go forward that target. It's time to get into them, and your capacity to train and to deliver this skill, it's all about a matter of training and a matter of receiving this information. And there are ways to do this, so that you go away out of your, again, prostitute, and turn into your lover, where you have clear ideas and you have a clear identity. You have identified your labor, your own labor of love, and you have transitioned in order to create that time, that space, and all the other tools, that energy, that finance that you are required, and to really experience it. And when I say to people that I can help you to grow your finance, I don't say by chance. It really happens. It really happens. It's a matter of decision, of course, from the other person, because when you don't decide yourself, no magician can help you, actually, can make the work for you. The last one, yes, is the core values. So the core values are all these principles that help you stay faithful to those goals, that working those goals lead you to your to the thing that make you joyful, to make a living out of your life. So having that respect to yourself, and this can become a reality. One thing that I can advise here is really to start building your capacity to say no. When you are thinking or feeling the need to save other people, or people asking you things from you, especially when you are not in a state, in a situation, either because you have health problems for various reasons, you are not in a state of that your own solid energy, so you cannot provide energy or care to the other people, to say no. You also take care of them much better, and you take care of yourself also much better. Because I was also a person who was saying yes, 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 yes all the time. And from the moment that I saw from where this was coming, and I changed, I had to practice and I had to train specific muscles of my physical, my mind, and my emotional fitness, in order to put these standards and these boundaries, and to say no. And life became easy. Life became easy, and situations and opportunities were appearing to me much, much, much easier. And my targets were coming faster on all domains. So this is a very important, a very triggering video subject, because not many people dare to find their happiness and what really helps them to create a living out of them. I challenge you to take this time, create this time to see where you behave as a victim, where you behave as a prostitute. I mean, the clients who have worked with me have received already another bonus on the archetypes. The people who are in the Global Influencers Academy learn intensively to work with these the tools, with these archetypes, and how to really depart from these situations and pass through the process in order to reach their sovereign, their warrior, their magician, their divinity, their lover, and reach that labor of love that permits them to create in their life. And my one-to-one clients, when they are focused towards the direction, they receive specific training. If you want that specific intensive training, I invite you to get in contact with me. It's intensive, short, fast, radical, and it has great results actually. So for this video, I challenge you to go and really check, like, what is the thing that you would like to make a living out of it? What are the goals that you need to establish towards that? What are the values that you need to really apply and focus towards that? Regarding the values, I give to my clients a very specific test, Determine Your Values, by Dr. John DeMartini. It's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool when you focus to do it. And it gives you like a reality check in front of your eyes when you really choose to do it. Get into your own breathing mode. Create a space in your house, in your own location, that gives you this cocooning and nourishment that you feel, comfortability. Burn in your space some frankincense, and connect with yourself. Speak with your guides, not from a position of a victim. Please, I beg you, give me this because I need la la la. No, but from a space of I desire this. My goal is this. My values are this. this is what I want to deliver. Tell me, what are the actions that I need to be delivering to you in order to create this? Because if you don't act, nothing will be delivered to you, just because you need to act. You need to act into that mode that is leading you towards your joyful gift and your presence. Bye.